Oh, check
2,
1.
1.
0. All right. All right. Hey, man, already rusty with a week off for Christmas.
Yeah. I like how we tried. I like how we attempted to do 2 live streams during the week of holidays and the opposite of a routine. And then both days are like, hell no. Man.
Yeah, like no way are we gonna pull this.
I don't know what time it is. I don't know where I'm gonna be. I got nothing.
Well, it's funny, as it hit 0, I was like, oh, I can't remember how we started this thing. Yeah. Anyway, let me just say it now, right? So this is stream number 4. Is it 4? We're doing 4. Oh my gosh, shit. 5. For a live show that we call Breakthroughs. The idea is get the breakthroughs before something breaks you. And we're doing this because we actually want to prevent the breakdown, right? Before something breaks you. We want to help people get that prevention before it goes too far. And what we mean by that is really like there's things in life that happen. It just happens. And it can sometimes alter your state of being to the point where you create so much stress, you create certain feelings, things that basically alter the body's makeup and can create a breakdown of some kind, health, whatever it is. For us, for me, for Jake, it was what? 3 strokes, 4 strokes.
3 strokes
at 31. I can never remember if it was 3.
You keep adding. Well, now you're adding them. I'm like, oh man, it was not enough, and now it's too many.
Now it's too many. 3. All right, that was easy. It's 3. 3 strokes at 31. 3 strokes at 31, and then I got a diagnosis of stage 4 lung cancer 3.5 years ago. That we both think both of these things were preventable. And we're like, well, how do you prevent these things? How do we be the warning, right? The prevention modality so that people can live incredible lives without worrying about this type of stuff. So that's the idea. Jake, how did my intro go, considering we were doing this after taking some time off and we're still not systematized? How'd it go?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, honestly, I can't even remember what it was the last time. It was a week and a half ago. And even then, we're still like glancing, trying to remember what it is we're saying. But I think as we go, we actually get better with just like, we don't actually read notes. It's just like, hey, the idea is breakthrough before something breaks you. We've each broken down previously because, we didn't know any of this stuff. We have this experience and we want to share it with people so that it prevents them from going through that. Because usually it's something breaks and then you change your life if you have the fortunate ability to do that after something breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't change anything and you're just kind of, miserable.
So today's topic, which I totally forgot to even say,
it's for right now.
It actually was good. It was good because then you chimed in and it felt like it was back and forth. But I was like, oh man, there's a headline I got to say. And it's simply how to generate the self-belief you need to do the shit you want to do. And it's not what you think, literally.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
The first thing is this. What is self-belief?
Well, that was going to be what I said. It's a very ambiguous term. And we wrote that because people think they understand what self-belief is. They're like, we say self-belief. They're like, oh yeah, just, I believe in myself. Right.
Yeah.
But it's not that at all.
I mean, well, what is it? Can we describe what actually people think it is? Like I had to try to think about it. I was like, if I have self-belief, what does that feel like? And if I don't, what does that feel like?
Yeah. People think that self-belief is a feeling, and it is in some way, but that's not how you generate self-belief. You can't just feel self-belief. You can in some ways, but that's not how it's done. Right. At least that's my take. What is your take?
I'd say like this comes up a lot in these live streams because we talk about people pleasing and perfectionism, and like they're very broad topics. And this is sort of what this is about. We're trying to break down these really vague things. Like, oh, all I need in my life is more belief in myself and I can do X, Y, Z. And you're like, okay, well, what does that even look like? And to me, I guess like it's a vibes thing, right? Like everything we talk about is just like some general like aura of like, oh, do I have it or do I not have it? Am I this label? Am I not this label? For me, if I have self-belief or I feel self-belief, it is some variation or combination of of like capability, right? It's like I am confident that I can do these things because I don't know, I feel I can overcome basically whatever it is I need to overcome. And if I don't, and maybe that's security, maybe that's just like, hey, like I know exactly how to deal with this, and like I'm secure in who I am and what I need to do. And then the opposite is like a moment of adversity approaches and you're like, I'm losing, like I don't have confidence in myself or security in who I am in order to overcome this thing.
I mean, well, I had to look this up a little bit because, it is such an ambiguous term, and we'll talk about why I chose this topic, and we'll talk about that in a second because it's very personal to literally the last 10 to 14 days. But the way that it has been determined is that self-belief is, you think about it in a certain way, but it's actually a different terminology, which we'll get to. But essentially, if you wanted to define it, it is you are capable of doing the things you need to do when it matters. Mm-hmm. That's the definition of self-belief, even though it's really not self-belief. We're probably confusing people because I'm confusing myself as I say it.
I think it's more like agency, right? Like, so agency is this capability of doing the thing. I think self-belief is knowing you have the capability to do that thing, right? Like it's inherent, right? Like you are, self-belief. That's why I think it's like this aura of like, oh, I already know that I'm capable when the time comes, whether the time is now or not, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, what are some, I don't know, do you want to talk about moments of self-belief? Or lack of?
Yeah. Let's call it lack of, because that's what triggered this whole thing. Okay. So for those who don't know, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer 3.5 years ago. And with that, basically they gave me 6 months to live. Right. And I'm here now 3.5 years, but I've gone through a lot of shit in order to stick around, and it's not over. Right. And I have to constantly do it. And I've been pretty good for the last, we'll call it 9 months. And these last 14 days for various reasons. So when I say pretty good the last 9 months, I had a lot of quote unquote self-belief in the last 9 months until these last 14 days. These last 14 days, I got absolutely destroyed just mentally, which physically hurts in many ways. And basically what it was these last 14 days, I lost all my self-belief, right? I lost all my self-belief, if that's what we're talking about. When I say self-belief, I'm talking about the belief in my ability to heal from this, belief in my ability to basically realize my life potential. I think that's the big thing. I got really depressed and sad about the fact that I might not realize my full potential. Right. I think that's the big one. That's where grief comes in and depression comes in, because I believe in my potential. And I'm like, I'm so capable of so many things. And then with a diagnosis like that, that basically tells you that you are done and you won't experience that life's potential. And so I was really good for the last 9 months in believing and still experiencing my life's potential. And then in the last 14 days, I lost all of that. Yeah. I was like, what's literally the point of me doing anything?
As you speak about this, now I'm like, from my point of view, right? Like outside looking in, the last 3.5 years have been a roller coaster of self-belief. I mean, prior to it, it's a roller coaster of self-belief, just a different, variation on the theme. And it's like, so when are the moments where you have that self-belief and it's like peaking? And then there's moments where like, it's just this the whole time, and I understand, or like I've viewed the patterns of when you lack self-belief and when you get it back, and when you lack it, when you get it back. Like, what do you think those times are, which includes the last 14 days?
Yeah. So I've visualized, I see this. It's to give people a visual of how this feels, right? And everybody feels this way in some capacity in their life. You have a glass ceiling. Okay. You have a glass ceiling and you start at the bottom and you're trying to go up in life and whatever you're doing. and you hit the glass ceiling. And when you hit the glass ceiling, right, that's the next level. The glass ceiling is the next level. Well, you hit the glass ceiling, right? Something hard, something that will challenge you, hits it, and then you bounce down. Okay. But then you regroup yourself, you recalibrate, and then you can break through the glass ceiling to the next level. And that's what it's been for the 3.5 years, right? It's constant, hit the ceiling, bounce down, bounce back up through the glass ceiling to the next level. And all of that usually is the bounce back up, that part, because you lose self-belief when you hit that ceiling a lot of times, and you have to work extra hard at it, and then regain and recalibrate that self-belief, and you bust through. Mm-hmm. That to me is like what's happened in the last 14 days. I hit a ceiling, and I keep saying this. I just keep saying it. Like you're hitting a glass ceiling. You have to get better. You have to literally become better at basically taking action to get through this glass ceiling, which I think is a pretty good segue.
Yeah. I was just hearing it. It's the 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of thing. And, but the ceiling is a better, more aggressive visual, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Because it's more how it feels.
You literally have to break through a glass ceiling.
So when you start, I think this is good for people. I mean, we're talking about, you're talking about health. I thought about myself with, my own health stuff, which mine was more acute, right? Like it hasn't been a 3.5 year journey. It was like a 6 month, it was a car crash. It wasn't a car. It was an acute moment. And then I struggled for 6 months to a year. And I remember that, like some days you'd feel really good. You have a lot of energy. Everything in your environment is like supporting what you're trying to accomplish or whatever, trying to heal, whatever it might be. And then the moment things get hard or tiring or complicated, then like you lose that fortitude, that resiliency, or that belief that you can overcome it. Like it's a battle, right? It's just like a one of those battles that knock you. You want the up and to the right straight line, right?
Always.
But and you said like no, it's like when you hit this thing and you go up, and that's everything in life, which is like nothing is an up and to the right perfectly straight line. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, for people who aren't dealing with health stuff, and some people are dealing with health stuff that probably resonate exactly with and what I experienced and you experienced. But there's other things that have nothing to do with the ability to heal, right? It's the ability to like get the thing you want, right? Or like we said here, to do more of the shit you want to do, say more of the shit you want to do, get more of the things you want, or whatever it is. And like, I was actually just thinking, I was like, what is something else that is not health related, but is still about self-belief? And a part of that self-belief is knowing worth and value and like actually feeling that. And I asked for, for my other job, like I asked for a rate raise, and I was like challenging myself with like, what is the right rate that I should request? Is it match my value? What if they don't want, and I had to basically build a case for myself to say that like, no, this is accurate. This is how I feel. And I feel like I'm worth this thing. And then I got it, which reinforces self-belief, so you need self-belief to do it. And then that reinforces the self-belief, which probably goes back to what you were talking about, this whole taking action portion of things.
I mean, the other thing is I have a friend who has a fantastic job, but what they want to do is completely different than that job. And it's kind of like, do you have the quote unquote self-belief to do the thing you actually care about more? Right. And that's kind of what we also had dealt with. So when we actually think about it, then the segue was that you said is like, well, what is the self-belief? It's actually not self-belief at all. Like we call it that because that's what people know it as. It's actually, frankly, agency or self-efficacy, right? Which is
almost like self-belief is the byproduct of self-efficacy and agency and doing it.
That's it, right? It's the actions. It's can you do the things you need to do when it matters? Can you do the things you need to do when it matters? Basically, can you take action and experience, what the results are from an action so that you continue to act to do the thing that you should be doing.
So let me
Or want to be doing.
pitch this visual, I guess. Again, this is the great thing about a live stream. We're literally just like coming up with these things as we're going.
Yeah, totally.
And we're trying to get our own breakthroughs, unless somebody else has something they want us to talk about.
Right.
We're gonna talk about our own breakthroughs, or try to come up with our own breakthroughs. And I'm realizing, because we had struggled, we're like, okay, well, what is self-belief? And it's like this thing and it's that thing. It's almost like self-belief. So in my mind, self-belief is this feeling, right? This like, I just have this confidence, esteem, ability to do when I want to do things. But it's like, it's not the actual doing. It's like this confidence of being able to do it. And then there's this agency, or the ability to act and actually enforce what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think where I see a lot of people try to get self-belief, or they try to, get more confidence or security, is they try to get self-belief, which is a byproduct of actually doing it. So they're trying to get the feeling in order to act.
Yeah, great.
And now what I hear us saying is, if you act, you have the agency, the self-efficacy, then that creates this aura and this feeling of self-belief. So usually, and the reason I think that a lot of people aim for self-belief first, actually it's more like an order of events to me.
Yeah.
If you aim for self-belief first, it almost feels quote unquote easier because it doesn't require action. You're just like trying to convince yourself in your head, I believe in myself, I can do it. Like you're trying to self-talk yourself into confidence or self-belief. Whereas if you go do the thing, even if you don't have quote unquote self-belief yet, but you do the thing and it creates, it's undeniable proof that you can do it. So now you've generated self-belief. I don't know. That's my take.
No, that actually is pretty spot on. As you said it, I was like thinking it through.
Yeah.
People want to think their way or emote their way into this idea of self-belief, when in reality it is you have to act to create some of the feeling and the thinking that you are capable, right? There was another thought I had, but it's this idea. Momentum begets momentum. Energy begets energy, right? Vitality begets vitality. Action begets action, right? The more you act, right, you're going to create more. And so when you act,
it becomes easier to act.
But it becomes easier to act, which generates the say, oh, I am capable of doing the things. And that creates the idea or the feeling of self-belief. Now, the question is, because this is where I hit that roadblock these last 2 weeks, is what happens when you act and you see nothing but backwards. That is where it becomes interesting, because you're like, well, I'm acting and I keep going backwards. I must be making bad decisions. I must not be doing it right. I must suck at this, right? And that looping now creates a different thought, which is I'm not capable.
I do not believe that I'm capable. Yeah,
that's it. I'm taking action, but it's been 14 days of no results.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
What happens there? That's what I'm asking you.
Oh yeah,
help me get the breakthrough live, Jake.
Yeah. Hold on, let me figure it out. We chatted about this before. I was like, it's this like the faith work. Like it's the ability to not see the result and keep going anyway, right? Like that is a faith sort of thing. Like you have faith in yourself, or faith that the results will appear if you do something enough times. And so like that's really hard for people to do. Like we need immediate result. This is a big thing. If you want momentum, to me, momentum in any aspect of your life comes from seeing results. If you do not see results, how do you get momentum? You're just literally grinding your face against a wall. And you're like, I see nothing happening. And yet, how am I supposed to keep going? Like, where is the line? I always ask this for like, I did some like coaching program for, they want to charge me monthly. I was like, well, how many months until I see a result? Because if you don't tell me, then I'm not going to just pay you infinitely to like see this result. Like I need to see it at some point. and tell me it's working or it's not working. Because if not, then it's pointless to me. So what you're saying is I am doing action, especially this last 14 days, and I'm not seeing any fruits of my labor. And if I don't see the fruits of my labor, then I have no momentum. It's actually the opposite. It's really depressing and disappointing because I'm doing what I think I need to be doing and it's not showing up in my life. So this comes back to that resiliency. So it's not, yeah, this is good. Maybe agents self-belief isn't just the ability to do it, but it's the ability to do it even when you're not seeing results, like sustained amount of time. It's a resilience factor.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this guy, Alex Bandura, his name, right? He's the one who actually was like, it's not self-belief. He's a behavioral psychologist he's dead now, but from 1960s or something. And he's the one who came up with cognitive behavioral theory, I believe. Anyway, the point is he was
CBT.
Yeah. What did I say?
Theory, which also could be. I don't know. CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy.
Therapy. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's what it is. Okay. I don't know. Close enough. But the point is he was like, it's not self-belief, it's this action thing, and like being able to be resilient to continue acting. So, and I actually thought about this as we were getting ready. So in those 14 shit days, these last 14 days where I was in a bad spot, I was acting, but I wanted bigger results. I wanted the feeling of these results that I had been getting. And now it felt like I was going backwards. And so not only do I have to keep acting, even though it's not producing the results I want, what I've realized as we're talking, and even before we were talking, frankly, what I had to do was I had to go to even smaller actions to look at. And it comes back to, it's funny because in this Alex Bandura's stuff, he talks about tiny actions, kind of like he used the word tiny risk.
Yeah.
Right. And so I literally was like, well, what are small things that I can take action on to keep me going even when I feel shitty? And it was as basic as selling more of our stuff. I literally was like, okay, just act. Put these things up on Facebook Marketplace and sell them so you can get rid of. And it was like tools, this. And it was so small. I mean, we're talking things that don't move the needle, but like had to get out of my sight. Like, I don't care about the money. I cared about just getting shit out of my life. But it felt so...
You saw an immediate result by selling the thing.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, as things kept going and leaving my life, I was like, okay, who cares? It's $20. I don't give a shit about the $20. What I cared about was things leaving my life because that was uncomplicating. But I had to spend the last couple days, because I'm much better today than I was a couple days ago and for the last 2 weeks. So I spent the last couple of days looking at the actions, the tiny actions, compared to the big actions I wanted. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I am convincing myself now, like, what is self-belief is the ability to act, agency, on your own. And then a resilience factor of the ability to keep doing that when there's no immediate result. And then a way to sort of, if that's not working or that's really tough, right? You lacked self-belief the last 14 days because you weren't seeing a result. You like, I'm going to scale down and just like do anything that helps me see a result to create some momentum. Now I can tackle bigger things. And even if those bigger things don't come to fruition right away, like I have more resiliency. So you had to like ramp back up basically by doing some very tiny things.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, agency and resiliency, or the ability to keep going without knowing the answer, is what my definition of self-belief. Like at your lowest point, when shit has hit the fan and everything kind of sucks, do you believe that if you just keep doing and keep acting and keep moving forward, eventually you have this confidence that like, I'll get out of it. I just don't know when it is. And that's the question.
And that was the thing I had to work on every morning when I wake up. I have to literally, and I do a lot of this mental work, self-directed neuroplasticity, meditation, whatever you want to call it. That's not going to create, right, the feeling of self-belief. It helps, right? Because what happens is when you shut down everything else and you can just look inside your mind like I do, it showed me what I needed to do to get back on track. But I still had to go do the things to get back on track.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just had to remind myself that you can't have these big swings and big, you know, I mean, we're talking like I was barely getting through, you know?
Yeah.
There's another thought I had, but I forgot it already. Keep
That's
going.
all right. I'm thinking now, like, what? Yeah, I think the answer. So we always try to. The breakthrough is like, how do we apply a solution to all of this stuff, right? And I think what we've just described is, you know, how people normally try to overcome this, or like, how do I generate more self-belief? It's some sort of mental loop that you are like, you're trying to convince yourself basically that you can just get it. Like you wake up one day and you'll just have it. It'll like float in from the sky or whatever. And you'll just all of a sudden have this belief. You know, there's other modalities that people will promise to like get this belief, like, you know, probably like affirmations, manifestation, like all of this type of stuff. And like, I'm not even against these things, but like, it might take a long effing time to like, for like, you know, unless you, in my mind, taking the action, literally proving that you believe in yourself, or like, you're not even proving it. You're proving you can do it. So therefore you believe in yourself.
You're proving you can act.
Yeah. And so, and it's not even like, act can be a lot of things, by the way. It could be saying stuff. It could be doing stuff. It could be asking for things, you know, whatever it is. It's just like, I believe that I can do it because I've already done it. So yeah, that is, so our solution, which usually is, if you're always in your head trying to create it, you're getting no new information. I've said this every single live stream, I think, by this point. You are literally just on the same pattern, trying to hope it magically works one day. When you act, you are literally creating some sort of pathway in life that exists. And when you act, you get new information. And it's funny because even if the result isn't there, you get new information. You're like, oh, that didn't work as well. Or now I can try something else. Or that was too big, so I'm going to go a little bit smaller. But every time you do it, whether it fails or not, you get new information so you know what to do next. And that doing the next thing is the momentum. Like if I know what to, I do something and then I know what to do next, then there's like a pathway. Because when you feel like there's no self-belief and you feel stuck like that, you don't see the dots in front of you. You're like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just sort of chilling, you know, like hoping things get better is what I think most people think about how to generate self-belief. And we're saying, you got to do stuff. You got to act.
That's actually, yeah. I mean, people get stuck. We'll call them rumination loops, right? You just get in this loop where you're ruminating on things, or you're just living your life and you're doing the same shit every day, right? Nothing's going to change unless you do something different, right?
Yeah.
And so a slight action, a tiny risk, a tiny action will give you new information to make a new thought process or a new decision to act again. And if you do it enough times, you get out of the rumination and out of the loops and then out of the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
If you
will. I'll say one more thing before we apply this to Spiraling. I realize it's 29 minutes right now.
Yeah.
But I think about like, you just moved locations, right? And it's rough because it's like, dude, everything feels like not as maybe as good as it was from the last place. And like, there's still more to be known. Like, you don't know how it's going to go. And that's like a big risk, so to speak. That's a big action, moving from one location, new routines, no routines to start. You have to deal with all this complication and stuff. And so that self-belief, to have self-belief, so the bigger the event or the change, the more self-belief is required to say, I have to wait a little bit longer. I have to take more actions to get through this.
And usually smaller, more actions.
Right. And if it's a tiny event, that's like a tiny change. It's not like a big life overhaul sort of thing. Like it doesn't require as much self-belief. So you just went through a 14-day span of this is a big change for me and it's really rough. And so it requires a higher level of self-belief. And so you had to you hit a ceiling and you had to back off and you're like, I got to find little things I can do to regenerate that self-belief again until things sort of get in a groove, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway. All right. Well then,
how does it, yeah, okay. So now the segue, how does Supply Run apply? Then
yeah, I'd say
say how it applies, and then you should talk about what JD said after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what we just described is you generate self-belief by taking a lot of action, right? Or any action, so to speak. In Supply Run, the pilot season we did, it's about 3 weeks long. In the beginning, guess what? I felt it. I'm sure everyone else felt it too, which is, what the fuck are we doing? What? I don't understand. We're going to screw this up. I don't feel good. I'm way out of routine. My family's halfway around the world. Everything is a massive change. And you're I'm just sort of scrambling to find confidence in what the hell we're doing. And is this stupid? I mean, Chad, I think everything, even before Supply Run, at least once, the 3 previous iterations before Supply Run, you're is this dumb? Yes. Are we
a waste of our time and our life? Yeah.
And it's funny because I was well, the alternative is essentially sitting, in the same place, doing the same routine every day, which can be helpful to build momentum and confidence in your life. But then there's no change in that either. So it was Supply Run is a massive change to the pattern. It's a massive pattern interrupt. And initially in that pattern interrupt, your self-belief is you're willing your self-belief to work. And I think it's because of this mission and because of this time constraint, these constraints, it forces you through that lack of belief faster than, because there's no crutch. There's nothing to fall back on. If we feel sad or we feel we're incapable, then we failed. And so there's this we have to do it regardless on if we think we can do this or not.
Yeah, and there was a lot of setbacks in that, right? With Vicky, with some of the stuff, but
yeah,
I'll never forget the scene where we have the scene of JD literally not high fives me or where he goes, dude, we did it.
Yeah.
And it worked. Fine. Yes. It may not always work, but it worked. And I just remember him going, dude, we did it. I mean, you weren't there yet because you were sick, but the point is that scene was JD felt everything. He felt all the ups and the downs. And then at the end he goes, dude, we did it.
I remember that scene because you were I don't think you recognized it the same way he recognized it. And you were oh yeah. Yeah,
we did.
But I mean, that was a cool thing about JD's because he, everything was so new to him. So he it was more acute, all of the things he was feeling. Yeah. And so then, one of the questions we always had was okay, Supply Run really kind of changes you within the immediate time frame after we do it. So there's 3 weeks you're doing it, and then probably for the next month or two, you feel different. That's was sort of the goal. But we had no idea if it would last beyond the 2 months, because you go back to your normal life, your usual routines, and does anything actually shift or change? Maybe internally, but in your world. And then we gotta, first of all, we talked to JD 2 years after the fact. He reached out to us, and then we had a call, and he was just yeah, my life is better. He kind of listed these things that were better, but it was all this general self-belief. But then he also sent us a message after that call.
Yeah.
And it said, it was a picture of him. I think it was a work conference or
it was a work conference, I think, in Vegas.
And yeah, and he was at, I think, a dueling pianos, the whole company was there. And he was I think doing I don't know if he was rapping.
He was doing a karaoke.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was.
But he described it as
a piano rap.
He was essentially he was pumping up his team, I guess, or his company, right? Or he was warming them up for whatever was coming up next. And the phrase was, I would never have been able to get up here and just do this without going on Supply Run first. And
I mean, that gives me chills.
Yeah.
Literally as you say it, because I was holy shit. When I remember getting that text, I'm dude, and it's, yeah, wow.
So,
go ahead.
So the self, we say self-belief, and a lot of what we've talked about, health stuff, it's a lot more, it's on a much bigger scale, right? Like it's like heavier self-belief.
Sure.
But self-belief isn't just, can I overcome this medical thing or like a big struggle? It is like every day. He was like, I, you know, when I first read it, I was like, wow, he just had this confidence or this like, I don't really give a shit, I'm going to do it anyway mentality, and I'm going to do this. And he didn't describe it as self-belief. I think I'm just like looking back on it. I was like, that is one form of self-belief, which is, I'm just going to do it. Like it's agency. And it's like, I don't really care what people think. And I'm so secure with who I am and what I'm capable of doing. I'm just going to do it. And it's such a simple thing that doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of your life, but it's a result of developing or generating self-belief. I guess, or more of it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think obviously we're 6 minutes over and we're like trying to keep it to 30. It's because this is a good topic. Obviously it's very personal right now for me. But I think it's one we can continue to, as we're going through it, we're getting breakthroughs for ourselves, you know?
That's good. We'll have part 2s and part 3s of certain topics.
Yeah, and now we can dig. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this and be like, okay, where do we expound upon this?
Yeah.
But anyway, why don't we go ahead and wrap it up? I'm gonna let you wrap it up because you remember how to do it better.
I actually forgot about I was like, oh yeah. So, well, the first thing is like, what is a question? You know, like I don't know. Did we develop a question?
No,
we're a week and a half off. We're a week and a half off.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess the question is have you struggled with self-belief? Like, what have you done to try to overcome that? Or if you did, you know, generate more self-belief, like how did it come to be? Curious to know. Beyond that, if you have some sort of mental stressor or burden that you can't quite describe, like self-belief, you know, we'd love to hear about it. So just send us a DM and maybe it's a topic we talk about. Maybe you can come on. Like it doesn't have to just be me and Chad. Like it can be 30 people on this thing, and it'd be cool to break down live. That would be really cool. And then, you know, in the description, you'll see a link to Supply Run. We just talked about it a bunch. If you have no idea what it is, you can go check that out. It's at our YouTube channel. It's the pilot season. And then if you are so inclined to join Supply Run as a courier, be the next JD, you can go to supplyrunshow.com and check out more there. So
big hopes, huh?
Well, see you later.
See you later.